Hi, welcome to Gospel with Greg, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the subject of church, which is very fitting because I'm filming this video a little bit in advance of when I'm going to upload it, and I am about to go to church after I finish recording this, so I'm in a good mindset to talk about it. And on this topic, you'll hear people talk about church buildings and what does the overall term church or the church refer to. So people will talk about the buildings and then kind of the broader idea of, believers and groups of believers. And I'm going to be talking about both here. So we're going to start off in Isaiah chapter 56, verse 7. It says, "Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people." So this verse gives us some insight into the purpose of the church buildings. And this is in the Old Testament, so it talks about animal sacrifice as well. But overall, church buildings are a place to worship God with other believers, and existed in some form in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. And of course, we should invite people who are unbelievers to come as well, to be a witness to them. This leads to the next point, which is why we should go to church. And we're going to look at Colossians chapter 3, verse 16. So this verse says, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, in all wisdom, teaching and astonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." So again, we should go to church to worship God with others and to grow in God. And this takes the form of remembering how great God is and learning new things about God's Word through singing songs and biblical messages, testimonies, and sermons. And this leads to the last big point I'm going to talk about is what the term church really means. And I'm going to look at a couple different verses for that. First one is Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. So this verse says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." And that's Jesus speaking. So the church is not limited to just a building, a physical building, but is a community of believers that God uses as tools to be witnesses to those who are not saved, and for believers to support one another. The second verse on this point I'm going to cover is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12. This verse says, "For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ." And so we can really, that ties into the point about church really being a community of believers worshiping together and lifting up and worshiping the name of the Lord together collectively. And of course, church buildings are a good way to do that, but we take the church with us when we go out and we witness to the world. So we need to definitely remember that our worship of God and our witness isn't restricted to just the church and inviting people to church, although that is very important, but we live this and embody the church in our everyday lives. So I hope you found this video interesting and informative. Until next time, God bless.